So, for my global issues project, first step was brainstorming ideas, and I was trying to think about stuff that I was passionate about, and how I could connect that to something back in Evanston, which is where I live, in Chicago. So my first idea, and so my project is kind of a two-parter, like there was two separate projects, and one of them is kind of still a work in progress and the other one is finished. So the first one I was thinking of, when I went to the Nelson Earth Day conference in Madison, Wisconsin, I saw one of my heroes talk, Jane Goodall, and she's just like very, very powerful influence in my life. Let's picture her. I know that she started a group called Roots and Shoots, and we had it in my elementary school, and I was part of it, and we did a lot of projects like beach cleanups and like learning how to grow plants and all other kinds of community work we did. At first I wanted to see if she could come to my high school, but I called and that just wasn't possible. She's like booked for 4 years. So Roots and Shoots is, it provides young people with the knowledge, tools, and hopeful inspiration to improve the environment and the quality of life for people and animals. And then here's a quick little video.
The reason that Roots and Shoots has its name, it's symbolic. So I always ask people to imagine their favorite big tree and then to think about how that tree began. It began its life as a little seed. So I think of an English oak, an acorn. And when that acorn began to grow, little white roots appear and a little tiny shoot, and you can pick it up, and it seems so tiny, so frail, so weak, and yet there is a magic and a life force in that seed, so strong, so powerful, that those little roots to reach the water can break through rocks and eventually knock them aside. And that little shoot to reach the sunlight can work its way through cracks in a brick wall and eventually knock it down. So we see the rocks and the walls as all the problems we humans have inflicted on poor old planet Earth, environmental and social. And Roots and Shoots is about hope. Hundreds and thousands of young people around the world can break through and can make this a better world.
And that was one of the videos. I was ready to start, but my high school was not. I made a lot of calls to teachers, previous science teachers and other teachers that I had, and my counselors and people like that. And I wanted to make sure that, like, if I left and went to college, that the program would still be running in my high school. But they were saying that they weren't sure. They didn't really have time for it with other groups they were already running. So that was discouraging for me. I registered and I got a lot of the materials for Roots and Shoots, and I decided that when I go home I'm going to start the program myself, and hopefully instead of implementing it in my high school, just implement it in my community and try to get people who will like run it when I'm gone. And I'm sure I know there's a lot of kids in my high school that are interested in doing that. So then, I was just talking about how it was hard to do it in my high school. So I put it on hold and I started thinking about other things that I'm passionate about. And I wanted to have something to work on while being at Woolman and take home to Evanston. And then I remembered Halo. For our Global Issues Community Service Week, we worked with Halo, and I talked to the woman there and got really interested in herbal medications, and decided that maybe I could do a project around that. So my experience with medication has been kind of negative because I've been on pharmaceutical drugs for anxiety and stuff since a really young age, and it's just been really hard for me. So I decided that I wanted to make a brochure of herbal alternatives to pharmacy drugs for people like me. My dad put me in contact with one of his friends, Artana, who runs Heart of Transformation Wellness Institute in Evanston, and I did a lot of work with her and talked about the alternatives to pharmacy medications. And I also talked with Lost Natural Health in Evanston, which is a store, and they said I could put my brochures in their window, and many other places in Evanston too, like Evanston Hospital and places like that also were willing to use my brochures.
And I'm an integrative physician in Evanston, Illinois, in the Chicago area. And I've been coming to this conference for...
That's just Arshana talking about this conference she went to, but I just wanted to introduce that her to you. Making the brochure is really a really fun and interesting process because I learned a lot of things I didn't know about herbal medications. So this is what is on my brochure. I have the other pictures to show, but I just took it step by step to show you like the close-up stuff I put in there. So this is the like cover page. Herbal remedies, a great alternative to over-the-counter drugs and supplements. This little logo on the brochure was designed by my sister. She's an illustrator. What are herbal supplements? And I just explain about that. The practice of using herbal supplements dates back thousands of years, so this is just the history. And I explain that I try to make it really clear in the brochure that it's really like a good idea to talk to your doctor before going on herbal medications because they can interfere with other medications, and it's just, you don't want to just like completely get off your pharmaceutical drugs and switch to herbal medications. It could be dangerous. So I tried to make that a big deal in my brochure. Here's some pictures on it. It's estimated nearly 80% of the world's population use herbs for some aspect of primary health care. In the United States, more than 1,500 botanicals are sold as dietary supplements. Top-selling herbs include Macia, garlic, golden seal, ginseng, ginkgo, saw palmetto, aloe. Yeah, okay. More facts. So yeah, this is the alternative part. I just listed some like regular problems that people face in everyday life. So like for pain, try some hands-on help. And for high cholesterol, certain foods such as oats, garlic, olive oil, and red wine can help reduce inflammation in your body and have been proven to lower bad LDL cholesterol. For acid reflux, for anxiety, for insomnia, for depression, and here are the sources at the end of the brochure. And that's kind of what it looks like. That's the front, and that's the back part. And my hopes for the future is to continue working with kids in my community and getting the Roots and Shoots thing going, and then to get the brochure out to as many health facilities as possible. And thanks.
Wow.